don't look too blue though.
Yeah, dude, you look like a Smurf. Hey guys, I'm here with Josh, also known as IndieStatik on the internet, um, and we're going to spend about 5 to 10 minutes doing an interview about games, indie games, and
I
his
love.
manly mustache.
Yes, this mustache has become famous over the past couple of months, which is funny because people seem to talk about the mustache more than they talk about my reviews, which I think is pretty hilarious.
You know, you could really sell the mustache on the internet.
Um, there was actually a guy on Twitter sent me a graphic. I'm sure you're familiar with the game Braid,
Yep.
Jonathan Blow's game. It's my Twitter avatar now, but he turned me into a character from Braid, and it's amazing because I typically wear a lot of flannel or like plaid shirts, and he made this like little plaid guy with a mustache and like the hair. It was so perfect. I've never been more excited to see myself as a cartoon in my life.
Alright, so now that we're talking about indie games, how did you get into... No, more like, how did you become interested in indie games?
Well, it's funny. When I first started really getting into PC games when I was about 14, and I'm 29 now. For anybody who really cares, so that's a long time. 15 years ago, I started getting into like hardcore PC games. I was a competitive Counter-Strike player, and I played a bunch. Like Half-Life was the one game I think that really got me very interested in PC gaming. And then after I did a lot of competitive play for a while, I played a lot of Call of Duty games. My friend Dave Henders, who's still my best friend, he put me onto World of Warcraft, and so I spent about 4 years of my life playing WoW. It People know this already because I've talked about it, and I think I get some crap for it. But I rolled Alliance. Don't hate me for it. And I
Oh
had
man, the Horde is the best.
everybody says that, but it was funny because like my friends rolled Alliance, and I had never played WoW before, so I was like, well, of course I'm going to roll Alliance. And I've always been into Magic the Gathering and D&D. Like those are the games that really got me into fantasy based games. And when I saw that there was a race called there were elves, there were gnomes, there were everything. It was like J.R.R. Tolkien in game form, right? So all of a sudden the night elves were like the thing that I really gravitated toward, and I rolled a hunter, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're a noob, you're rolling a hunter," and I was a beastmaster, so it was like super easy. I was just like owning people because I played on a PvP server, and then but I had no idea that there was such an allegiance between Horde and Alliance when it came to PvP gamers. But anyhow, I played WoW for 4 years, and it was just crazy. Like literally, I don't think I played another AAA title in that capacity as much as I did WoW. And then after that kind of settled down, I got back into Call of Duty, and then it was just like I felt like every game just kind of they were just so cookie cutter. They were just so like all the Call of Duty games, all the Battlefield games, Warcraft, in my opinion, at that point in time, I quit right before Cataclysm. It just kind of it ran its course for me. So I started playing. I just started playing like indie games on Steam. I would find the Steam sales would have these crazy games that I'd never heard of before. So I started downloading them, and I was just blown away by the quality and by the storyline and the art. Like one or two people could make such an amazing game that I was just totally taken aback, and I just started playing indies. And then about a year and a half ago, when I started my channel IndieStatik on YouTube, this game called Jamestown came out, which is an awesome shoot 'em up. For anybody who doesn't know what Jamestown is, you essentially it's Great Britain versus Spain, but in Mars. So it's colonial Mars, and you're essentially fighting the Spaniards in Mars against aliens and all sorts of other things. And so I started doing Let's Plays of Jamestown, and I was terrible at doing LPs. Talking and playing was like super hard for me. And but I saw, what's that? Oh, yeah. Everybody wants more Cry of Fear. It's so hilarious. Like no matter what I do, I will put out a video, and it could be anything, whether it's the green light with people will comment on the TGS, the Remag show on TGS, and they're like, Josh, play Cry of Fear. Because if anybody has seen those Let's Plays, I am terrified. I'm literally like, games make me cry, like almost cry. Like I'm on the verge of tears. I don't know how PewDiePie does it. I think at this point in time, he's probably just done it so much that he's you know, the emotion isn't quite there anymore. But for me, they're crazy. Anyway. That's kind of how I got into it. It was basically just like there was I felt like AAA titles were just lacking that certain something, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And then I played Limbo, and I was like, holy crap! Like, you know, I went to school for graphic design. I went to an art school, and so when I saw a game that was a German expressionism game with this wonderful story and this awesome character and it's super creepy, I was just like ready to go. And then I played Braid, and Braid changed my life. Braid made me cry. Like literally at the end of Braid, I was in tears because I had just gone through a bad breakup before I played it. And anyone who's played Braid can probably relate to a lot of the things that you're going through in the game. But apparently it's just some, like, I don't know, story about the nuclear arms race, which is hilarious. So anyways, yeah, that was it. And that was, man, about 3 years ago now, maybe a little more than 3 years ago, I started getting into indies. And then a year and a half is when I started my channel. I'm like, there's something to this. And, you know, at the time, Bitejacker was really the only guy who was doing a lot of indie games coverage. So I felt like I could kind of get in there. And it's been such a great journey up until this point.
Oh, sorry. For some reason, the footage cut, so...
Well, that's okay. Do you know where it cut out?
Yep, right here.
And I mean, do you know, like, what the last thing I said was?
Yeah, it was the end of the sentence, but yeah.
Oh, okay. I can just restart that part, if you'd like.
Yeah, sure.
You're ready.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm ready now. Hey,
okay.
We're back to cut, and...
yeah, so I'll just pick right back up where I was talking about AAAs versus indies and...
Yeah, you were.
Okay, cool. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm already recording.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I had just seen, like, AAAs just seemed so cookie cutter to me, and I felt that there's really something to indies. And at the time, Bitejacker was really the only guy doing indie games coverage, so I felt like there was something to that, and so I kind of jumped on it. And that was about 3 years ago at this point in time, and I started my channel IndieStatik a year and a half ago, and it's been such an awesome journey up until this point.
But you lost me at Cry of Fear. I dare you to play that game again with the Oculus Rift.
Everybody dares. Everybody wants to see more Cry of Fear. I know they're working on a sequel right now. And also, like, the new Amnesia game. What is it called? Harvest of the Pig. Machine for Pigs. And I will probably dabble again in horror games just because everybody wants me to. Yeah. Now, I think that I should say this. I don't want to do it. As Josh Mattingly, I do not want to play these games. But I feel that since the IndieStatik community is so amazing and they've been so receptive to what I've been doing, I feel like I should probably do it just so everyone can laugh at me being a little ninny.
I still dare you. I'll give you $1 million if you do it with the Oculus Rift headset.
Oh, is it crazy? Is that headset crazy?
Yeah, the VR.
My headset is just this one. I use the plant.
Nah, I'm talking about the Oculus Rift. You know, the 3D glasses. No.
Oh. No, I don't.
I dare you.
You, sir, can keep your $1 million. And, I will keep my sanity.
Well, you know, there's also this machine that it basically records your heart rate and makes the game scarier based on it. Imagine that with Oculus.
There's a game, I can't remember the name of it right this second. I could look it up, but they were showing it, I think, at PAX East, I want to say, a couple of years ago. And essentially what you do is you put on this helmet, and it blinds you. You cannot see anything. And it's a sound game. So the only thing that you're navigating through this game with is your headphones and your keyboard. So basically, you're in a spacecraft, and it crash lands into this alien planet, and the planet is just water. So you hear yourself crash land, and then you're underwater, and you can hear yourself breathing. You can hear the bubbles coming up from around you, and the harder you breathe, it's like a gas mask that goes around your face with little sensors inside of it. So the harder you breathe as the player, the more sound you make in the game. So the more like bubbles you're creating underwater. And then all of a sudden, you hear like this crazy beast, right, that's underwater. But since you cannot see, you are just completely screwed by yourself, trying to figure out how to escape this thing, get back to your wreckage, which you have no idea where it is, so you can, put out an SOS and somebody can come save you. They had some reaction videos that were so funny because the guys inside. It's like if I'm just blindfolded and I'm freaking out and I'm like, oh god, and like you just see them like swatting, but there's nothing there, so they're just swatting at air, and they're at a convention, so there's like 100 people watching them. It's probably the coolest, scariest thing I've ever seen, and man, I would not play.
That sounds pretty fun, but the question I was supposed to say, but you lost me at diving.
Oh, diving?
Yeah. You mentioned that you were underwater, but anyway, what's your favorite indie game?
Oh man, that's so tough. There's so many classics that, and I call them classics lightly, I think, because, the indie scene is still very new. But, going back to all the games that I've ever played, there are a couple that really stick out. One is a game called Pop Methodology Experiment #1 by this guy named Rob Locke. He's an amazing dude. His game is so crazy. It's just like a self-contained acid trip. It's a bunch of mini games that you play. The game's only about maybe 15, 20 minutes long. But I've never had more fun. Just like in terms of having fun as a player, it's very lo-fi, very music. And if anybody's seen my videos, if there's a great soundtrack, I really talk about that soundtrack. It's amazing. The soundtrack's amazing, and the game is actually kind of built around the sound, which I like. And a lot of indie developers do that because they might meet up with a guy who's a sound engineer. Like a friend of mine, Rekadam, a.k.a. Roger Hicks, who's amazing. He works with Disaster Piece, and it just like that game really moved me on a crazy, just like fun level. Braid, though, I think I'm gonna say Braid is my #1, and that might be cliche because it's one of the most popular indies ever made, but it's just so good. Actually, you know what? Let me take that back. Braid's amazing. Braid is my #1.
Don't you dare say Minecraft.
No.
Oh, good.
A little factoid about Josh Mattingly. I've 10 minutes.
I'm sorry, your internet cut off a bit, so.
Oh, it's okay.
It's starting to lag.
Yeah. Hold on one sec. Am I still there?
Yep.
Are you recording?
Yep.
Okay. Here's a little fact about me, and this might be what's going on? Sorry, one sec. I think all of a sudden my video just went to normal quality instead of high def.
Normal quality looks fine.
Okay. Will it be? Can you edit that still? Is it going to be okay for your video? Okay. So a little known fact about me, and this might upset some people in the indie world or indie fans. I've played Minecraft for all of about 10 minutes. I never really got into it. I thought it was really cool, but by the time I had started doing, IndieStatik content, there were already Yogscast was out there, and there were already so many people covering Minecraft that it was almost just too much. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to get kind of lost in that shuffle. And even now, years later, or 2 years later, I think, year and a half, 2 years later, Minecraft is dominating on YouTube. The Yogscats and those guys still make a ton of money in terms of just like, now they've grown a business, right? They've got like all these other people that are under the Yogscast team, and just like they have their own game now. It's something that just took off. But Minecraft wasn't anything that I really got on board with. But I was gonna say, and this I would have to say this because it's the game that I spent the most time with from 15 to 21, and that's Counter-Strike. Because originally Counter-Strike was just a Half-Life mod. It was a couple of college guys. Yeah, we can clap for that.
Yeah.
Counter-Strike, when that game came out, I had played Half-Life and I played Opposing Force because that had come out. And then when Counter-Strike came out, I played the beta and I was just blown away. And then when 1.3 came out, I started getting into competitive leagues, which at the time, Cal, the Cyber Athletes Amateur League, was the only one out there. And I worked my way up from Cal Open all the way up to Cal Premier, which was one step away from Invite, which means you would have, like, if I was on an Invite team, like Team 3D, like Shroet Commando, the Swedish team. I don't know if you know Shroet Commando.
The only Swedish team I know of is Heaton, but he's a gamer. But
oh yeah, Heaton. Yeah, he would. So Shroet Commandos is Heaton's team. He was originally on NIP, and I can't remember what that stands for now. But then Shroet Commando came out of NIP, and Heaton went on to like just dominate the scene. And back in like 1.4, where you could still bunny hop with a deagle, Heaton would just like jump around the maps and just like one-shot people's faces. And I would watch his videos and just be so into it. But I got far enough in my Counter-Strike career where I almost got invited to go to the professional events, but just never cut it. And I would like to say, I think it's because my team wasn't as good as I was.
oh, blame it on your team.
I'll go ahead and say that. Those things where at the time I was 16 or 17, and it's hard to find a team of 16 or 17-year-old guys who are in high school who want to put forward that sort of like time and effort to practice and do all that stuff. And for me, high school, and not to brag, but like high school is just kind of easy for me. The work was simple. I just kind of did it. I did my homework. I graduated high school with a 3.5 GPA, and I would just. Is that an English muffin?
No.
I see those nooks and crannies. What is that?
We call it what?
Or is it a rice cake?
Yeah, it's a rice cake.
Oh, okay. I haven't had a rice cake in a long time.
Continue. Well, sit here and eat.
No, I want to watch you eat that. Is there butter on that?
Yeah.
Is that? Oh
delicious.
Man, you guys in Europe, man, I swear, you guys have the best. You guys just know how to eat food. A friend of mine is from Wales. Actually, the guy Dave, who I referenced earlier, his dad is from Wales, and he has like, I guess you could call it the English breakfast because it's all part of the United Kingdom. But they do baked beans on toast. Do you do that?
No, that's disgusting.
No, it's not. It's amazing. I promise you. Take a piece of toast. Toast it, or even better. Do you know what an egg in a basket is?
Wait, what kind of logic is that? Take a piece of toast and toast it.
Sorry, take a piece of bread.
Because here in Europe, toast is what's done.
Right. Yeah, that's the same thing here. I'm sorry. You caught me. Do you know what an egg in a basket is? If you cut the middle of a piece of bread out and you fry it on a frying pan, and then you drop an egg inside of the hole on the bread. So do an egg in the basket, and then take it off of the skillet, and then take cooked baked beans, put it on top of that egg in a basket, and then sprinkle some cheese on top and let that melt. It will change your mind, or it'll blow your mind. I promise. Your life will be changed.
Let's get back on topic. I'll tell you the taste of either this or surströmming after the interview. But I really want to ask if you were to make a game with someone, what would it be like?
If I could choose one developer to make a game with right now, it'd be Cactus. Cactus Squid, also Swedish. You Swedes, man, you guys know how to do some indie games. I tell you
Yeah,
what,
we do.
his games are so crazy. The one Cactus game that I played that like just changed my opinion about gaming in general was and I'll say it so it's PG-13. Keyboard Drum Set Effing Werewolf is the name of the game. If you haven't seen it, you need to check it out. The game is only about 5 minutes long because it's the duration of a song. A song by the Effing Werewolf Association is the name of this band. And so it's like this crazy, like just crazy indie rock, like kind of like techno beats, a lot of synth and stuff. And then Cactus just made this crazy game. Yeah, I'm like playing it like, oh yeah, I want to get through this. And it's like,
All right.
there's like screaming. And have you seen the game?
No, I haven't heard about it.
All right, so I'm gonna give you an assignment, sir. When we're done here, go to my channel and look it up because I played the game in its entirety, which is it's a 5-minute video, but it's gonna make you want to play it, and it's a free download. And so Cactus for me was one of the guys that like every game that he did up until Hotline Miami was a free to play game. So he was the epitome of indie. He was punk rock. He still is punk rock. He's just like, he's this, somebody called him a, I think it was IndieGames.com called him a prolific weirdo in one of their articles. And I thought that was so funny. I'm like, but he is. He's a weirdo and he's prolific and he makes these games that are just like thought-provoking and cool and like exciting, but they're free and they're like super lo-fi, super just like crappy quality, like looking. They just look like some of them look just like garbage. I'll just say that. Some of Cactus's games look like garbage, but you play them and you're just like, the story is amazing. And like Cactus would be the one guy that I would get on board with. And I would probably do a game if I could like have the plot of my game would probably be my life story, because nowadays there's so much like depth to games, and like a lot of indie games are very emotional. If you've played The Cat Lady, for example, which came out recently, that game it's an insane story about this woman who was essentially like beaten and killed by a group of hooligans or whatever, and she can kind of like transport between the living and dead worlds, and so she has to like figure out how she died and then get revenge on herself or for herself on these guys. But my life story, I have a very weird upbringing. I was raised by a single father. My mother like left when I was very young. I have a lot of terrible things have happened to me in the past. You know, I had an abusive stepmother. I had my brother recently passed away in October, and that was like very, very hard for me. He was 25. He was one of the loves of my life, and just like every relationship that I've had, I've had so many hurdles and so many things have happened to me that have affected me in such a way, be it negative or positive. I've taken whatever thing was thrown at me and was able to turn it into something somewhat positive to help me move forward as a human being. And I think that if I could make a game that would speak to people who have also gone through a lot of hardships, that would mean more to me than any like crazy shoot 'em up fun like game. But I think that if I was teamed up with Cactus, we could make a game that was both fun to play but also emotionally stimulating, that people would walk away going like, holy crap, dude, Josh's life was insane. And I'm not trying to have like a pity party on myself. I love where I'm at now, and I love my family and all the friends that I have, and I feel so blessed all the time. But if somebody took a walk in my shoes, while playing a video game, they would really appreciate what they have right now.
So let me get this straight. You want the emotional game about yourself that has something to do with fucking werewolf with a keyboard?
Well, kinda, yeah, I guess. That style of game, more like, think Hotline Miami meets Hotline Miami meets the saddest movie you've ever watched. That's the kind of game that I want to make.
All right, so you want the bad game about werewolves and vampires?
Yeah, essentially I want to make a game about Twilight.
Yeah, you guessed it. So we're going to...
Oh, hang on one sec. I'm sorry. You just got all choppy.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah. Are you clear on your end?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I can hear you, so that's okay.
All right, but we're going to cut the interview right now because we have already passed the 10 to 15 minute mark.
Yeah.
Because you spent most of your time talking about your mustache and shit. So.
Oh, whatever. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. This thing has got a mind of its own. Which is really hilarious because I had the beard for a long time and then I shaved that and everyone was like, "What are you doing? You look crazy without a beard." And then I grew the mustache and then everyone's like, "Wow, that mustache is actually pretty."
The part you said this thing has its own life. On
Yeah.
my screen, when you showed your mustache, I can't pronounce that.
You mean this
Yep.
thing? You mean
It
this?
turns green now. It turned green, man.
Yeah, that's a mustache right there.
Yeah, that's a manly mustache for all you people.
Anybody who wants to know what a manly mustache looks like. And I keep the little flavor saver down here too. It's like a lot of people tell me I look like a World War II general, a Civil War general. So anybody who's familiar with American history might know a thing or two about what a Civil War mustache looks like.
Yep, so before we end the interview, where can we find your channel and stuff?
Oh, yeah. You can find me at youtube.com/IndieStatik, and that's IndieStatik with a K. I'm also at Josh Mattingly on Twitter, and you can... we just launched our website, which I'm so freaking proud of. IndieStatik.com is like... We've only been operational for about 4 months, and I have about 9 contributors. My editor-in-chief, Chris Priestman, who, if you're not following him on Twitter, you should. He's at C. Priestman. He is, like, just the best. He's, like, literally the best person that I know. Like, I'm so grateful for Priest, but the website's amazing. They're, like, aside from the channel, if you go to the site, I have so many intelligent, wonderful writers who just, like, they love indie games, and there's so much available that they will present to you in such a way that when you're reading it, it feels like a friend is reading to you, and their opinion pieces. And it's not just like your typical straightforward, like, oh, I'm writing about games. It's like you feel like you know the person's opinion, which is far and away the most amazing part of the site. So that's IndieStatik.com. And then you guys can also find me on Facebook at IndieStatik.
All right, so before we end this, you know the thing we talked about before the interview?
Oh, yeah.
The Swedish thing.
Yeah.
Let's see if you remember it.
All right.
And do not look at the Skype chat.
All right, so what do you want me to say? I forget what it is.
Surströmming.
All right. What is that actually? What is that thing? Is that what you're...
It's sour herring. Fermented fish.
Do you guys eat a lot of fermented fish in Sweden?
Yeah, it's been stored in a barrel, so say it now.
All right. Surströmming.
Almost. And while we're on the topic of fish, there's a Swedish tongue twister that even I can't pronounce.
And also...
laxari and laxask.
Oh, wait. Okay, go ahead one more time. Sorry.
Laxari and lax... it's so hard to pronounce. I'll just write it in the chat.
Yeah, write it and I'll try to say it. And while you're doing that, I will just say that you guys have a candy that is my favorite candy in the world called Swedish Fish. And I don't know if they're actually Swedish or not, but they are my favorite candy in the entire world.
Oh, so we're doing some product plugging here.
Well, I feel like I need to... I keep meaning to get a P.O. box going, and I haven't done that yet because I would like people to send their T-shirts to me. So, like, for example, David, if you had a T-shirt with your channel and stuff on it, you wanted to send it to me, I would wear it either on Remag or on my channel and kind of give you some, advertising that way. But yeah, Swedish Fish are amazing, and I would like people to send those to me. All right. So, whoa. In America, that means sex.
Yeah, I know.
So Sex laxar en laxex.
Almost.
Hang on, I got it. Sex laxar en laxex. Laxax?
Oh, sorry, dude.
Laxask. Sex laxar en laxask. Right? That's gotta be it.
Yeah,
Sex,
almost right. And I'm a
sex,
Sweden. Even I can
sex
pronounce it.
laxar en laxask.
If you're going to say it slow, it's sex laxarian laxask. But
Laxadian? Gladian? Is that how you say it? Sex
no, sex laxar en laxask.
Laxadian. Laxadian laxas. Sex laxadian laxas. Is that good?
No.
Come on, Sweden. What do you got for me? Sex laxian en laxask. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to end it
IndieStatik.
here with a thumbs up.
IndieStatik. All about Swedish pronunciation.
And bye, people. Hit it.
All right. Sex laxardian laxask.